Dana White has been going viral again, this time for, shocker, him defending Jon Jones as the ranking third in the pound for pounds ranking. We're going to take a look at the video from Dana White. We're going to be reacting to it, and then we want to take a look at a bunch of the top replies from both Happy Punch and Championship Rounds, two tweets that kind of went viral with it, just to get a gauge on what the MMA community as a whole thinks about this entire situation. We're going to get into that in just a second. Before we do, though, I do want to say, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Let's get into the video with this video from Happy Punch about Dana White. I'm sure you guys have seen it at this point, but we're going to react to it anyways.
Jon Jones is ranked number 3 pound for pound in the world. Most fucking ridiculous, embarrassing, stupid, know nothing about fucking fighting ranking of all fucking time.
And he's so adamant about it. This is what I don't get about it. Like, if you guys have been following the channel, you would know that I kind of personally have two conspiracy theories on it. One, I'm almost at this point believe that Jon Jones just has some really, really bad dirt on Dana White. But what I think is the most likely thing is that in case another Francis Ngannou situation happens where you have a really, really great fighter, someone who's dominating the division, leaving the sport, Dana White will forever be able to say that he has the best fighter in the UFC. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me. I don't know about anything else.
Jon Jones is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world, period, end of story. To have anybody above Jon Jones right now just goes to show that you know absolutely fucking nothing.
But that's not true. The whole point of pound for pound is like, if everybody was kind of at the same size, the same height, the same range, who's the best fighter? And I actually wouldn't say Jon Jones.
It's undebatable. Anybody who even tries to debate this with me, you're just hating on Jon Jones and you don't like him as a person. These are fucking facts. It's not like...
That's not facts, though, Dana. And it's important to note, too, where... I know a lot of people come from this and they make fun of Dana White constantly. They hate Dana White. They hate the fighter pay thing. Dana White himself is an inspiration to me. I'm a big fan of Dana White. So this video isn't coming out as any hate whatsoever.
Me and Jon Jones have this unbelievable relationship. What I am saying about Jon Jones is undebatable.
It is completely debatable, though. Like, I don't understand. Like, how are we supposed to respond to this, though? Honestly, how are we supposed to respond to that? Because, like, it's completely debatable.
The baddest dude to ever walk the face of the earth in combat sports, Jon Jones.
It's just, I don't get why he's so adamant about it. But let's take a look at what a lot of the people, the fans, have been replying. And again, we're getting the replies over here from Championship Rounds and Happy Punch over here because those two seem to have the biggest tweets about it. SW Fight Hub had this to say: he's so protective over Jon, it's strange, like even more protective than Conor. That's actually completely true, and there's a reply to it over here. I think he's just trying to stroke his ego enough that he comes back and tries to make a run of it. And all honestly, as a fan since the Vail, Tudo, and Co. Smoker shows, I don't even know what that is, Jon and Conor are irrelevant to the grand scheme. They don't fight. I guess, like, I don't know. Jon Jones I might agree with, but Conor McGregor will pull numbers absolutely no matter what. But at the end of the day, it is completely strange. He's so protective over Jon. I don't get it. Like, does he... What's the answer to it? Does he have dirt on him? Because Dana White has done nothing but really kind of trash Jon Jones over the years, and now he gets so defensive about it. Like, so defensive. Let's continue on. May 23rd had this to say: find someone who loves you the way Dana White loves Jon Jones. As an older fan, it's hilarious to see how Dana has gone from Jon will never headline another PPV again, Greg Jackson is a sport killer, to this. And I remember all of that. Dana White never really had a ton of great things to say about Jon Jones. He wasn't necessarily a Jon Jones hater. He could have been behind the scenes, but I don't know off the top of my head. I don't remember exactly what it was, but what were those old leaked text messages from Dana White where it's like, I don't remember what it was. He was really trashing Jon Jones to somebody else. But regardless, like, Dana White has been in the media over the years saying some not so great things about Jon Jones constantly. Like, this is just brand new. And I'm an older fan as well. I remember all of this. Greenwood also replied and said this: I will die on the hill that the entire point of the pound for pound is to not consider size. So Dana's reasoning that nobody other than Jon Jones walks out of the room is irrelevant to the pound for pound. It's skill for skill ranking. And that's how I feel about it, to be honest with you. Like, if you're talking about the greatest of all time competition or the greatest of all time list, then what Dana White's saying would apply to Jon Jones more. I personally would still argue against it because of all the cheating and the robberies and the close fights. I don't think that Jon Jones is the greatest of all time, but that's an argument that's understandable. To argue about him being the pound for pound best, it's completely 100% debatable. Brax Moore continued and had this to say: if you have 240 pounds, 6'5" Islam versus the same for Jon Jones, I'm picking Islam. I don't know about that one, but that's the point of the pound for pound rankings, right? If everybody was kind of the same size, it's just skill for skill. Who is the best fighter. I'm not so confident saying that it's Jon Jones. I think you would have a huge problem in the lightweight and the bantamweight division if you're just taking skill for skill and everybody was the same size. Let's continue on to Blonded MMA, and he's absolutely right. Pound for pound is based on an entire career. Losses obviously shoot you down to the pound for pound list, but Jon Jones hasn't lost. When GSP came out of retirement after 4 years and beat One Eye Bisping, he became the pound for pound #1 because it was his entire career. I don't think so. I understand that. But if you're talking about GOAT status, then I could agree with you. Christianity MMA said this: Dana's right. Jones was a dominant at light heavyweight and came back and subbed the best guy at heavyweight. Gon isn't the best heavyweight, and he was dominant early on from heavyweight, but he was also fighting fighters that were not nearly as good as the fighters today. I believe that he would beat Alex Pereira if he went back down to 205, but he would have problems with guys like Alexander Rakic, or Yuri Prochazka would be an interesting one. I don't know who would win that one, but I'm not so sure that he would be so dominant at the 205 division. Rolando Moda had this to say: Dana's son, hi, good morning, Dad. Dana replies, good, I'll tell you who's good. Jon Jones. Jon Jones is the greatest fighter of all time. Do you understand me? Dana's son begins to sob. Mom, Dad is raging again. I'm scared. And it's like, it's crazy how these jokes have come to a point where, like, Dana White, no matter what, just talks about Jon Jones. These fans think that Jon Jones isn't the pound for pound best. Oh my God. Chris had this to say: I like how he always says knows nothing about fighting, know nothing about MMA, and you wouldn't be able to rank Jon Jones as a #1 from, let's say, his bouts from 2014 and now. Times go by, he's unbelievable, but it doesn't make him #1, unless that's what pound for pound means. Understandable, but that's not what pound for pound means. Wesley Styles also piped up. Plus, if you want to get technical, Jones lost to Reyes and everyone knows it. Even he was shocked when they gave it to him. It's even debatable if he beat Gus 1 and Santos. Those are all controversial because people didn't see it for Jones. You could debate that forever. That's entirely true, and that's one of the reasons why I also don't believe Jon Jones to be one of the greatest fighters of all time. Prime Gustafsson was a fantastic fighter. Prime Reyes was also a really, really good fighter. I don't know how much, like, him struggling with this really has to do in the grand scheme of things. You know, I think it just hurts him, if anything. Let's take a look at Rap Hook Mitchell, my theory of why Dana White defends Jon Jones the way he does. Jon fights for a flat guaranteed pay and doesn't take much of the PPV cut. Might not be the biggest seller, but he's one of the most consistent PPV stars of the UFC. Yeah, you'll always be able to get some good money out of Dana, and it's totally fair to think that. Again, my controversy is if I think the most likely thing is we don't want another Francis Ngannou situation to happen again. I can't think of anything else. Jon Jones. You know nothing about MMA. Like, I don't get how he's always so persistent about that. It's come to the point, like that other post we were taking a look at, like, good morning, Dana. Good. I'll tell you who's good. Jon Jones. Jon Jones is the best fighter of all time. It's not even debatable, Jon Jones. And my dog's looking at me now. Hi, baby. That's how she dismounts off the couch. Very, very strange. Anybody else have a golden doodle? They kind of dismount like that, apparently. I thought it was weird, but that's besides the point. Hey, what do you think about Jon Jones? Hi, Sonny. Jon Jones, best fighter of all time. Jon Jones, there's no way she could debate me. She knows absolutely nothing about MMA if she doesn't think that Jon Jones is the greatest fighter of all time. Am I right, Sonny? Am I right? She's looking at me strange. Am I right, Sonny? Is Jon Jones the best fighter of all time? Is Jon Jones the best fighter of all time? Guys, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching the video. If you are interested, there'll be a video on screen right here if you want to keep watching the channel. YouTube thinks you'll like this video the best if you want to keep watching the channel. I'm going to get out of here. My dog is bugging me now. Take care, everybody.